are a couple of very important things I want to talk with you about today. One, I want to wrap up on Mike Lindell's cybersecurity symposium investigating election integrity. The other thing I want to talk about is the situation in Afghanistan. It's a horrific military and humanitarian disaster, and it's unfolding so rapidly that by the time you see this, it's likely the situation will already have greatly changed. And Joe Biden owns it, no matter how much he seeks to blame everyone but himself while pretending to take responsibility. Well, first, Lindell's election integrity symposium. Quote, "There are so many ways to defeat a legitimate ballot," end quote. That's the first big takeaway from the event. Experts clearly showed the combination of factors making election outcomes vulnerable and open to question, potentially leading a targeted candidacy to death by 1,000 cuts. There ought to be agreement at this point that electronic voting systems are not guaranteed secure. I don't pretend to be a cyber expert, but these systems can indeed be connected to the internet and hacked by any geek who knows how to do it. But some people are very unhappy with Lindell for trying to point this all out. Wednesday, after the symposium, Mike Lindell was assaulted. He got punched in the ribs at the close of the day. And on Thursday morning, he related another story of heavy-handed opposition, saying it wasn't just Tina Peters, the county clerk from Mesa County, Colorado, who I talked about last time, who got raided, but also a colleague of hers at his home. He was there with his 4 kids when state officials came knocking and then confiscated all his electronics, even the kids' computer games. Though Lindell must now admit that he can't just drop some big bombshell and get Donald Trump reinstated as president, he got excoriated in the media for even suggesting that, he did bring concerned people together on the critical issue of election integrity. So just because voting equipment can be connected to the internet, can we determine that it was? One whistleblower, anonymous due to fear of retaliation, brought a photo that was taken at the TCF Center in Detroit, which is Wayne County, Michigan. It's a photo of a computer used to process absentee ballots at a recent local primary election. Election workers had been instructed to keep all devices in the counting facility in the airplane mode. But when the whistleblower turned that off, several internet connections appeared on the screen. Even if this was some internal network, it would still have been vulnerable to other devices. Not being a computer geek myself, I can't independently verify this claim as I'd like to, but it's just one of so many that even if the devices are actually airtight, I don't see how faith in electronic voting can be maintained. America as a democratic republic can't continue this way. Fortunately, some of the experts at this symposium had some pretty good ideas for creating a new and secure system in which people can actually verify that their vote was counted as intended. This is an issue that should unite both parties, and increasingly, it actually does. As according to a recent Rasmussen poll, 71% of Republicans want forensic audits, and 55% overall do. Now let's turn to the gut-wrenching news coming out of Afghanistan. It sickens me to think of the magnitude of this disaster, the swift triumph of evil and the Taliban's humiliating mocking of America as they seize our advanced weapons and vow to spread radical Islam worldwide from the presidential palace. And yes, the Taliban was speaking to the press while President Biden was hiding out at Camp David. The pain that our soldiers must be feeling, men and women who sacrificed so much to help the Afghan people, so many having lost their limbs, their buddies, and their lives as they watch everything they fought for unravel within just a few days. And the terror of the people of Afghanistan, especially those who helped and trusted us, they were abandoned to face the wrath of a pitiless conqueror, and it's just unimaginable. Some were so desperate to escape they tried to cling to the sides and the landing gear of an American plane taking off from the Kabul airport. There were reports that at least 3 fell to their deaths from the plane taking off. And of course, as the Taliban took control of Kabul, one of their first orders of business was to release imprisoned al-Qaeda and ISIS terrorists so they could go back to killing and enslaving innocent men, women, and children. Afghanistan's first female ambassador, Roya Rahmani, tried to reassure American soldiers that their sacrifices were not in vain. She told Fox News, "You made a huge difference in lives of people you haven't met, will never meet." She She reminded them that Afghan girls were once banned from going to school or leaving the house without a male escort. Sadly, I fear that's going to happen again. Now, she also noted that 70% of the population is under 30, and they've only known life under the protection of the U.S. forces. And that makes it even more tragic to think what might happen to them with the return of the brutal Taliban. It ought to be a chilling lesson to every overprivileged Ivy League, America-hating socialist that if you tear down this country and its institutions, which have given you a level of freedom unprecedented in the history of the world, you may just be shocked at how swiftly things can change for the worse. If you think you are oppressed in America, try Afghanistan under the Taliban. We already have China and Russia as threats, and now it appears we're about to have a newly empowered Taliban armed with our weapons that the Biden team didn't think about securing, and they simply left behind as if they were rusted toys. Do you still think Trump voters and the weather are our biggest worries? Whether you think we should have been in Afghanistan or not, I hope we can agree that this was the wrong way to leave. I'll have more for you on this later in the week as the news develops, and I'll have some experts on the show this weekend, so be sure to tune into that. In the meantime, leave a like and a comment if you thought this video was up to snuff. Be sure to click on the subscribe button and the notification bell below. That way you'll know when my next video is going to be uploaded. And if you want more of my takes on the news of the day, sign up for my newsletter at MikeHuckabee.com. You'll get them delivered to your email inbox twice a day, and it's all absolutely free. Now, that's a good deal. Finally, please join us for a live stream this Friday. It's going to happen at 1 p.m. Central. Be sure to come armed with both your compliments as well as your questions. That's it for this edition of The Breakdown. I'm Mike Huckabee.